All right, three things in 3 minutes. Let's get it. So, last week we released the field report, and I want to start with a few of my favorite takeaways. I spent the last 2 months pretty much living and breathing the responses from the top 100 inner East Bay agents about what they think about the market. While the national media spent most of 2025 talking about how weak the housing market was, the reality on the ground looked pretty different. So, one interesting stat: 74% of top producing agents told us that more than 3/4 of their listings sold over asking. That's not a soft market. And as a quick aside, the strength doesn't appear to be fading. Looking ahead, only 19% of agents thought buyers would have more leverage than sellers in 2026. The second big takeaway was how bifurcated the market became. Homes that were priced well and properly prepared for the market did very well. Homes that weren't languished. Over and over again, agents told us they met buyers who wanted certainty. Move-in ready mattered more than ever before. Projects and surprises were a hard pass in a way that they hadn't seen in years. That ties directly into the next theme: buyer hesitation. What came up repeatedly was that hesitation wasn't driven by rates or affordability alone. It was driven by uncertainty, economic angst, political uncertainty, a general desire to avoid risk. Buyers weren't frozen, they were cautious. If you want the full breakdown to the field report, I'll put a link below. Additionally, you can check out the Zoom Insight briefing that we did last Friday with 5 top agents. It was a pretty powerful conversation with agents sharing openly about real lessons from the field. All right, number 2, quick business lesson I picked up recently from an unexpected source. I was listening to an interview on Diary of a CEO, which is one of my favorite podcasts, with Kevin Hart. If you know Kevin Hart, he did not go to business school. He's not a Wall Street guy. He's a comedian with just a high school diploma, and yet he's built one of the most sophisticated business empires in entertainment. So what did he say his edge was? His answer actually surprised me.
I'm very secure in myself and being the dummy in the room. I'm extremely secure in saying I don't know what that means. Explain that.
Think about that. He's sitting there with millionaires and billionaires, and instead of pretending to know everything, he asks questions. And that's the thing that's allowed him to achieve at the highest level possible. He didn't say talent or confidence. He described intellectual humility, the ability to admit what you don't know and shorten the gap between where you are and where the room is. I'll be honest, this is something that I had to learn the hard way. Early in my career, I had a little success, and it made me think I knew more than I did. That slowed my growth. Now, I try to treat business like the infinite game that it really is. You never actually win. All you can do is keep trying to get better, whether it's marketing or sales, leadership, team building, client experience. You just stack skills. And the fastest way to do that is by being willing to say, I don't get it. Teach me. Because the person who asks the most questions usually grows the fastest. And finally, 30-year fixed rates are still hovering around 6.125%. In fact, rates have not really moved at all in the last 2 months. We've seen them between 6 and 6.25. This week, we're getting the long-awaited January jobs report from the BLS. If it shows the job market is weakening, that could have positive implications for mortgage rates. I know it's perverse logic and tough to root for, but it is the thing that investors and the Fed are watching before we see an improvement in the bond market and therefore rates. All right, y'all got this.